to the same vision. Who would have ever thought young Dwayne Gibson stuck to the same vision? Never quit because I couldn't slip, so I stayed driven.
And there is no better person to be joining us today than the man who made history himself, D.O. Gibson.
Is a Guinness World Record holder for longest freestyle rap.
For 8 hours and 45
D.O.
minutes.
Gibson is his stage name.
The spotlight on rapper, motivational speaker, and father, D.O. Gibson.
D.O. stands for Defying the Odds.
And he drives home that message to the next generation.
Why? Cause I'm lit. I can't apologize for who I am. Light skin, aloe black, they call me the man.
Keep on learning and gaining more information. To me, that just thirst for knowledge is something you want to see in kids. If I can be part of giving them something that they can attach onto and give them hope, then I'm glad I can be part of that.
That is a look at Dwayne D.O. Gibson. He's a writer, motivational speaker, and get this, the Guinness Book record holder for longest freestyle rap.
You bet, and he recently launched a new project called Black Canadian 365.
Black Canadian 365 is an initiative to show that Black history isn't just about 28 days, it's 365. And I wanted to create a resource so that while I'm visiting schools in February and beyond, people could go back to this site and they could find out a little bit more about history. It's great to hear about the quick tag points, but it's really good for kids especially to learn another layer of Black Canadian history. I think that Black history is not just important for racialized students, but it's important for everyone. And having a resource like that when I was a kid would have been invaluable.
Make a meal by my mama crib and get my own island. My comeback is the best, but I ain't never lived, yeah. I ain't on just yet, but best bet that I'm next, yeah. Don't ever sleep, nah, I let my eyes rest. If I woke up, then I'm blessed. I can never see me getting depressed. Why? Cause I'm lit. Speaking in this accent, they didn't understand me. Acting extra, like my ticket said the Grammys. Come on, cuz, know I had to bring the family. Never did learn about a plan B. Rolling with the A-team, B.A. Baracus. Yeah, I hear them say things, but they can't stop us. Celebrate our wins, cause we know about the losses. So sick, and we ain't talking nauseous. My docs just arrived and we going off the leashes. Going all night and the vibe just increases. Even when I'm far from my city, I act like it's home. Back in the zone like Patrick Mahomes.
He does love it. That
D.O. throwing it down. He's the best at throwing it down.
Like drop that, yes.
And he says he has no plans to slow his flow.
And there is no better person to be joining.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Yeah. Who would have ever thought that young Dwayne Gibson stuck to the same vision, meaning I still had that vision. Now we still driven. We still in it. We had to make the chance, winning the Stanley Cup, maybe like the Avalanche, because lightning can strike. Shout out to Leafs fans. There's always going to be next year. I know you understand. See, I come through, man, you never have to worry. Hit the big shot just like it's Steph Curry. I'm talking game 6. We in the mix. Let me tell you who Dwayne is. See, one thing about me, you see it's true. D.O. flow cold like the Beebs brew. It's been a tough 2 years, but stress, you never let it get you affected.
So this is to you, teachers, students, for staying still driven through a pandemic. Now, right now, if you guys are in the place to be, if you're feeling good, put up 2 hands in the air for me. I wish I could see. I'm really excited to be here for this still driven presentation. This one is going to be my next one of the day because I was just speaking to some younger students. Feel free to write in the chat any questions that you guys have. But if you have a question for me, I'm going to take those later. I see one class is asking, do we need to join audio? You should have audio. I did a little test before having a few different people log in across the country. So the audio should be working. If it's not, I encourage you to log back in. Please note that this presentation is recorded. It's streaming live on YouTube at my YouTube channel, which is I am D.O. Gibson. But right now, we are broadcasting across the country, maybe even some places around the world. We have tens of thousands of students here today. So I'm really excited. This is going to be my last virtual performance of the year. In 2 days, I get on a plane. I'm going to the south of France to perform. That's why it's always good to learn French. And I'm going to Croatia after that to perform at a festival. And then I'm going to be in London, England, doing an event to celebrate Canada Day, even in the UK. So that should be pretty cool. Now, guys, I think by now you guys should know me. But in case you guys don't,
allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
D.O. And I noticed that some people are typing in the chat already, and that's great. Some students are typing in the chat, which is cool. But I just want to remind you to keep it to what we're talking about here. I always hate when I have to close down the chat. So, or just temporarily pause it. I've told you guys maybe once in November, if you were watching me for anti-bullying, maybe twice in February when you saw me for Black History Month, or maybe you saw me another time in the year. Maybe you see me 6 times now. I don't know. It's always cool when I hear students say that. You know that DO stands for defy the odds, which means to have a dream and to keep working at your dream, even though things get tough, even when people say you can't do it. That's why I always say that you need to stay driven. Now, you guys notice that today we're calling this not stay driven, but still driven. So some of you guys might be like, Dio, why would you call it still driven? My first album, my first CD, you guys remember CDs, was called Stay Driven. And my latest album, I actually put this on a CD as well, is called Still Driven. But what does still driven mean to you? I want you to think about the first day of school. I used to love the first day of school. Do you guys remember the first day of school? I know I'm making you think way, way back to September. First day of school, I remember feeling fresh. You know when you just feel fresh? And the reason why I felt fresh is because the first day of school means usually you had new clothes, back to school shopping. Couldn't wait to show my friends. New backpack, fresh new backpack. I even got excited about my school supplies, especially when I was younger. Just having like a new pack of pencil crayons used to be a big deal. You're fresh. And it seems like every year, at the beginning of the school year, that first day, that first week, you feel ready for a new school year. You had a great summer, but you're kind of like, you know what? I want to go back and see my friends. I look forward to recess. You're excited. And it's like you have a blank slate. You know, when you have a chalkboard or smartboard, maybe in your case, there's nothing written on it. I don't know why I'm pointing there when there's no board behind me. But it's a brand new start. You're starting fresh. And that first week of school, you wake up early. Nobody has to tell you to wake up. Your mom, your dad, no. You're up early. And after school, you come home and as soon as you get home, you do your homework. You want to do well this year. When you have a test those first few weeks, that test could be on a Friday, and you start studying for it on a Tuesday. Some of you guys, if you've seen one of my presentations, will understand that inside joke. But the point is, you just want to do your best. And for those few weeks that start the school year, you do your best. You're up early in the morning. You get home from school, you're doing your homework, you're studying for tests, and you're doing well. You start the year off on a good note. But then there's one day when you wake up in the morning, and maybe it's when you hit the snooze, or maybe your alarm didn't go off, and one of your parents comes in and says, wake up, you got to get to school. You miss breakfast, but you get to school. But after school, your friends say, you want to go play some basketball? Want to play some road hockey? Want to play some video games? Again, if you've seen one of my presentations, you'll get that. But you say, sure, I'll do my homework later. But when you get home, you're a little bit tired. So you do your homework before you go to bed, but you kind of rush through it. And maybe you do okay. And then when a test comes that's on Friday, you don't start studying for it on Tuesday. You don't start till the night before. You don't really spend that much time, and you don't really even study that much. And maybe you do okay until that one day comes up. Report card day. See, maybe you're not doing so well. So you go back to getting up early, doing your homework, studying for the test, start doing well again. Then the same thing happens after holiday break. And in January, you're not doing as well. Maybe you turn things around. See, that's what I mean by being still driven. Because to stay driven means that when you're going for your dreams, when you're going through goals, not everything is going to go all the way up. You don't just always have a great day. You guys see me and I always have a smile on my face, right? Well, that's when you see me talking to you guys. But some days I don't wake up early. Some days I don't want to do the work. But I'm still driven. I've been speaking to youth and performing for over 20 years. So when I say still driven, I'm talking about how you have to keep going. Now, I learned this lesson when I got a letter in the mail. You guys remember what letters are, right? Yeah, postage, cursive writing. I know they don't really teach that as much anymore. But I got this letter when I was in university. Now, when I was in university, at the beginning, at the start, I felt fresh. I went away to university. I moved to Toronto. I lived by myself for the first time. And I was having a great time. I was rapping. I even made a CD. I was performing. But after a while, I was going through a rough time. And I wondered, did I make the right decision? Should I be going to university? Did I take the right subject? Am I at the right university? I don't know a lot of people in Toronto. I want to be a rapper, but it's so hard to be a rapper. And that's when my dad called me and he said, Dwayne, you got a letter in the mail. And I said, okay, who's it from? And he said, that's the strange thing. And I said, Dad, why is it strange? And he says, because the letter is from yourself. And I said, I got a letter from myself. Does that make any sense? Here's why I had the letter from myself. Because when I was in high school, one of our assignments was to write a letter to my future self. So when I received that letter in the mail for a second time, my dad mailed it to me in university. I read that letter. And 5 years before that, when I wrote that letter, I said things like, I don't know what I'm going to take in school, but I want to go to university. I'd love to move away to like a big city like Toronto. I want to be a rapper, but I don't know if I can do it because there's not a lot of rappers from Canada. Now, I hadn't achieved my dream. I didn't graduate from university. I wasn't living, on my own. I was living in a dorm room with other people. I didn't think of myself as a professional rapper. When I read that letter, I realized I was on my way. And that's when it clicked that I was doing all the things that I wanted to do. So being still driven means that sometimes your dreams are going to change, but you keep going towards them. If you guys saw me in February, you might have heard me tell you guys this poem about how your dream can be deferred. See, I remember my dream being deferred. My dream was to be a rapper, but it took some time. Even though it took some time, I'm still driven. Let's see if you guys remember Rap 101 goes a little something like this. Check it out. When I say hip-hop, you still music. Hip-hop, hip-hop, music. When I say can't stop, you still can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop, can't stop, can't stop. Hip-hop, I said can't nobody hold me down. Can't nobody. I used to come home and watch much. It was always fun. These were the days of double myself. Oversized jeans. I didn't know what to do. Their heads set. I looked up the fresh prints and maestro fresh west. That was fancy. Don't make a mistake. Like I was 17. I was trading straight, paving the way. Face felt like a full-time shot. Get my money on my mind like a $2 stock. One ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we still winning. Yeah. Staying on a hustle, working overtime. Defying the odds, staying on this grind. We still driven. Yeah, we still driven.
We still driven. Now, if you guys were paying attention to that video, you guys heard how my dream of being a rapper was. I mean, I remember walking home from school, and as soon as I got home, I turned on Much Music. Now, Much Music was this TV channel that played music videos. These are the days before YouTube. See, when I started out as a rapper, when I got that letter, being a rapper to me meant two things. I wanted to have a video play on Much Music. And I also wanted to have my CD in stores. And guess what, guys? I achieved my dream. I had a music video over 20 years ago play on Much Music. I signed a record deal. Universal Music, and my CD was in stores. But that didn't mean my dream was, came true. I wanted to do other things in rap. Now, if I told you guys right now in 2022 that my dream is to have a video on Much Music this year and have a CD in stores, you guys would look at me like I'm crazy. Much Music doesn't play videos really, and there's no CD stores, barely any. There's no HMVs at least. So your dream changes. But when you work hard towards your dream, you can use those skills in different ways. You guys might have heard me talk about one of my heroes this year, The Rock. His big dream was to play professional football. He wanted to play in the NFL, but he got hurt when he was in university. He couldn't play football for a year. And when he came back to play football, not as many people thought he was as good. He tried to play in Canada for the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL, and he was cut. He only made it to the practice team. Now, is The Rock a failure? No, I don't think anybody would say he's a failure. But his dream was deferred, and it changed. But because he worked so hard, I watched him on Instagram 2 nights ago, and this guy, after a long day, was in the gym lifting heavy weights. So by working hard every day, he was able to achieve another dream. Now, my dream has changed now too. 2 days, as I told you in the beginning, I get on a plane. I'm going to the south of France. And next week, next Tuesday, I'll be performing at an event with another Canadian. Hopefully I get a chance to talk about that Canadian, connection with my man, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, Deadpool. So I'm looking forward to that. And when I do that, I tell you guys, that's going to be a made it moment. So I want you guys to check out
finally did it.
A little bit
Rose
of my
to the
music
top.
video.
Forget the critics, now they have to admit it, cause you on top and you winning. The funny thing is, it really isn't much different from when you was cooking up. Late nights in the kitchen, stick it to your vision. Driven like Lewis Hamilton, bet it all on yourself. And you ain't one for gambling, so take a second. Soak it in for a moment, enjoy it. The times you came so close, only for disappointment, it was worth it. See, you could've been deterred when they kept saying no, but instead you stayed determined, stayed working. First in, last out, for sure it's easy to say now, but you know what it's like to be nervous and shake it off, like dirt on your shoulder. That voice inside your head, now saying I told you. They said all the reasons why not, and you were like, so what? So go ahead, do your dance, walk with that. This is your made it moment. It feels great, don't it? Pat yourself on the shoulder for all the times they told you you wouldn't. This is your made it moment. You finally slayed your opponent. So go ahead and soak it in. Celebrate your win and do it all again. Create another made it moment.
Made it moment. I love watching that video because I had such a great time shooting that music video. But I want to tell you guys the story behind that music video and why it can mean something to you guys. So before I shot this music video, it started with a chapter in my book. See, 2 years ago, we were in this pandemic. And if you guys remember, in the spring, most of us weren't going to school. We were learning online, but they hadn't really figured out what to do online. And all of a sudden, I couldn't perform. I couldn't tour. And I'll be real, I was kind of disappointed and sad. So I started writing this book. And one of the chapters in the book is called Made It Moment. Now, after writing this book, which took about a year, last year, around this time, a lot of people had to go back to learning online. I wasn't able to perform again. So I decided I was going to make a soundtrack to this book. Now, what does Las Vegas have to do with this book? Well, I said a made it moment is a time where you feel like you made it. You feel good about how far you've come. And as a rapper, it doesn't mean having a lot of money or wearing expensive jewelry, but a time where you just feel good about yourself. So when I wrote this song, I thought about what would be making it a year from now, because I didn't want to just make a song. I wanted to make a music video. And I said, one of my ways of making it is going back to the Grammys, going to walk the red carpet at the Grammys. And January came this year. Now, if you guys remember, in January, we weren't even sure after the holidays if we were going back to school, at least in Ontario. Shout out to schools in BC watching this too. But I said, I'm still going to the Grammys. They were in Los Angeles at the end of January. But then I got the news that they were postponed. Stores were closing. It was kind of a lockdown again. Now, I want to show you guys this poem that I did during Black History Month about what happens to a dream deferred. Now, did my dream dry up? Did your dream dry up over the last couple of years? Sometimes you feel like it, right? If you can't play on the basketball team because of COVID, it's really frustrating, but doesn't mean your dream is over. See, I wanted my dream to explode, which means I wanted not just to come true, but to have a big way of showing it.
It could be walking the red carpet at the Grammys. Or it might be legendary times with family.
So in my song, I talked about walking the red carpet at the Grammys. Not just attending the Grammys, but I wanted to walk the red carpet. And my dream exploded when I did. Shout out to my man, Travis Barker. I also got to talk to a woman that later that same night became his wife. So this is me on the red carpet with Miss Kourtney Kardashian, maybe Mrs. Barker now. Now, I didn't film my conversation with Kourtney Kardashian because I thought that's kind of awkward if you're walking and videotaping it, but I had a nice talk with her. She was really cool.
It could be walking the red carpet at the Grammys. Or it might be legendary times with family.
So your dream does not just have to be walking the red carpet at the Grammys. I said it could be legendary times with family. A legendary time for me was going to Walt Disney World. I love going to Disney World. It was a lot of fun. I went with my family. And for you guys, I want you to think about a made it moment. I want you to think about a time this year or in the past where you just felt like, hey, I made it. And maybe, like I said, maybe it's making the hockey team. Maybe it's you're an artist and you drew an incredible picture and you're like, wow, I'm even impressed by myself. Maybe it's going to be this summer. You can think about something you're going to do now that you don't have to deal with as many restrictions. But I want you to think about something you're going to do that's fun. I mean, for me, it's hanging out with my family. I'm going out to Langley. I know there's some students here that are from Langley, BC, and it's going to be my aunt's 100th birthday. So that's going to be a made it moment. Well, more so for her getting to 100, but I'm going to love going out there for there. And if you haven't seen your grandparents or an aunt and uncle or a cousin or some friends, that can be a made it moment when you see them, because during COVID, you might not have seen as many people. To have a made it moment, you have to dream, you have to imagine. One thing I do is I make a vision board, and I've got one of these. It's upstairs hanging up, so I can't bring it down, but I printed out pictures. I cut them up. I made this big Bristol board of everything I wanted to do. You know, it's similar to this one. I want to travel. I want to read. I want to see family, friends, exercise. But I encourage you guys to make one of these vision boards, because don't just have the dream, but take action. What you want to do.
It's so rough.
Sometimes when you're growing up,
trying hard to fit in.
Trying hard to fit in.
Be original. Time goes by, and now we all grown up. Used to look up to the stars, but now they following us.
Hey, yo, my mama used to say, everything gonna be okay. Don't worry about them, but one day you gonna find your way. Hey, I didn't want to be like them. I used to sit up in my room and turn the volume to 10. Back then, there was only one. Though many others tried, competition was none. I just swear nothing ever been chillin' and watch it thriller. Nowadays, they try to do it, but nothing really is realer. Didn't matter which one I'm talking. Jordan, Tyson, Jackson. See, you doing it some of the time, but Robbie, anyone else, you one of a kind, because
it's so rough. Growing up as a kid, trying hard to fit in and be original. Time goes by, and now we all grown up. Used to look up to the stars, but now they find us.
It's hard to have your dream when you're going through a hard time. And that's why I wrote that song, Follow Me. Now, the idea for that song came 15 years ago, before people were always saying, follow me. See, my first album was called The North Star, and I made a t-shirt. And on the front of the t-shirt, it said D.O. And it also said the name of my album, which was North Star. So on the back of the t-shirt, we wrote, follow me. Get it? Like, follow the North Star. I'll show you what that means when we talk about the Underground Railroad in a moment. Now, follow me means social media. And every day when I go to a school, I have people saying, D.O., can you follow me? I'd love to follow every student I meet, but I don't really know them if I just met them right there. And even for me, I can't just tell you to follow me if you don't really know me. See, things have changed. I remember when people were growing up, they wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. But now I meet a lot of young people that say they want to be a YouTuber. That's cool. That's a great job. You know, they're doing really well sometimes. And people want to go viral. You might go on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube and want to make something that's really popular. In music, we want to make hit songs, right? You want to have a big song. But I want you to think about not going viral or making a hit song if you're a musician, because I've also seen a lot of one-hit wonders. They have one song that's really popular, but they weren't able to follow that up. And I've seen a lot of people go viral on TikTok, but then they can't do that again. So that's why I take the advice from one of my mentors, Maestro Fresh West, who said, don't make records, make history. And what that means is, just like The Rock, he wasn't sure what his dream was going to be when it changed, when it was deferred, but he worked hard every day. One of my heroes is Terry Fox. He has 0 likes, 0 posts, 0 shares. I mean, he wasn't really around for Instagram, but he has millions of followers. Don't focus on asking people to follow you, but be a leader. Now, guys, I've been talking to youth for over 20 years, and I love doing freestyles, and I know that people want me to rap about cheese. It's been a popular topic. Dinosaurs. Shout out to Jurassic Park. I want to go see Jurassic World. I know there's a difference. The other topic that really hasn't changed in the last almost 15 years is Justin Bieber. Shout out to the Biebs, right? I got to go try the Biebs brew. I haven't had it yet. Maybe this afternoon. But there's one topic that I get, regardless of if I'm with kindergartens, regardless if I'm with grade 11s and grade 12s. The most popular topic over the years has been unicorns. And I've rapped about unicorns so much that I said, I got to learn more about unicorns, because I don't want to just rap about a unicorn having a horn, right? You want to say more. So I did some research on unicorns, and I saw that unicorns have been around for over 5,000 years. It's like hieroglyphics right there. Right? That's a long time. There was an explorer, Marco Polo, and he wrote, I should say, how he saw a unicorn. Do unicorns exist? Well, he was traveling in Asia, and he said, well, I saw a unicorn, but it doesn't look like what I thought a unicorn would look like. It's big, it's kind of fat, and it's ugly. Now, I know you're not supposed to say things are ugly, but that's how he felt. It didn't look like what he thought a unicorn would look like. Nowadays, we realize that what Marco Polo likely saw was a rhinoceros, right? You could see why you'd think it was a unicorn. But in his mind, what he thought was a unicorn didn't really look like what it would be. Nowadays, when we talk about unicorns, we're not just talking about My Little Pony. No disrespect to My Little Pony. My kids used to love it. They talk about it in basketball. You guys know who this guy is, right? 2-time MVP. Last year won the world championship. Giannis. And they lost to the Raptors before, too. And Antetokounmpo. See, he's done so well that now everybody knows how to say his name. It's kind of a challenging name. And they call Giannis a unicorn. They say that because he's really tall. He's over 7 feet tall, and basketball players are tall, but he's 7 feet tall, but he doesn't play center. He plays like a guard, which is usually something shorter players do. He can dribble the ball really well. He's got a great shot. So they call him a unicorn. Now, there's a guy playing basketball tonight. I'm not the hugest fan of their team. I love the Raptors. I love when the Raptors beat them for the championship. But I'm cheering on Steph Curry because he's had a couple rough seasons. He was injured. His teammates were injured. They weren't doing well until they got this Canadian on their team. Shout out Andrew Wiggins. Funny thing is, one time I was doing a school show. Andrew Wiggins was in grade 8, and he was my volunteer. It's a cool thing, right? But is Steph Curry a unicorn? I mean, Steph Curry isn't 7 feet tall. He's considered short for being a basketball player. He doesn't play center because he's short. So I want to see if you guys think he's a unicorn by telling you guys 5 things that I learned about unicorns and why I think you can be a unicorn yourself. So number 1, unicorns are different. See, a unicorn kind of looks like a horse, right? But it's not a horse. So imagine if you were a unicorn and you went to school, or you were hanging out with a bunch of horses. You might get picked on for being different. You don't look like a unicorn. I mean, a horse. I mean, a unicorn is a different color. You know, they're rainbow colors. Shout out to Pride Month. It's different. Steph Curry, he's different than your traditional superstar in basketball. You don't usually see a shorter player be an MVP and not dunk the ball all the time, things like that. Unicorns are magical. You know, if you see a unicorn in My Little Pony, they're flying around. But unicorns show us that we have magic. And I tell you, Steph Curry got that magic. He doesn't just shoot 3-pointers. He'll shoot a 3-pointer from half court. That's magic to me. Unicorns are strong. And while you look at Steph Curry's skinny, just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're not strong. I mean, Steph Curry will drive the basket drive the ball to the basket, even though there's huge, 7 feet tall, 300 plus people. So you got to be strong and brave on top of that to do that. Unicorns are impossible to capture. See, Steph Curry isn't just magic because he shoots a long 3-pointer. He also does it with a hand in his face. It's impossible to block him. And what that means to you is when you have your dream, when you're being a unicorn, nobody can stop you. Nobody can get in your way of defying the odds. The 5th and final thing are unicorns that are together. Now, I never knew this. I wonder if you guys know this. Do you know what you call a group of unicorns? It's called a blessing. You know, you might think like, why would they call it a blessing? But think about how you have that strength, that magic. I mean, when it comes to strength, did you guys even know in the Bible they talked about unicorns? They said to have the strength of a unicorn. Pretty crazy. I know we don't have just Catholic schools, but it's not too religious. When I think of Steph Curry, I think about his teammates, how Klay Thompson, Draymond Green are unicorns. They're not the traditional players, but they've won a few championships, and tonight they might win another. Guys, it's been a blessing to be able to talk about Black history. A lot of you guys tuning in have seen me talk about Black history. And it's a blessing not just to talk about it in February during Black History Month, but to do it throughout the year, 365 days. In a few days, there's going to be Juneteenth. It's celebrated in the United States. And what it means is to celebrate the end of slavery, which shows us how far we've come in the last couple 100 years. Just became a national holiday. And slavery meant that people would take the Underground Railroad. Enslaved people would travel to Canada and they would follow the North Star. One of these enslaved people was Josiah Henson. And I told you could learn more about him at Uncle Tom's Cabin. And I encourage you guys that this summer, you learn more about Black history, not just in Black History Month. Or maybe you learn about Indigenous history, or maybe you learn about Asian history. Maybe you learn about different cultures. After talking about Black history, a lot of people have reached out to me and they say, Dio, what can I do? Maybe there's racism at your school. And what I did when I was in high school and I faced racism is I stood up against it. I was fighting the good fight. Not by using my fists, but I battled racism. Yes, that is me with a lot more hair on my head. I used to have braids in my hair. But what I did was my friends and I, we were a blessing. We started a club, the Multicultural Awareness Committee, because we wanted to stand up to bullying or to racism. Bullying as well, really, when you think of it. So I want you to take action when you think of something that's wrong and that you stand up for it. Nowadays, guys, we're on our phones a lot. You know, sometimes I'm doing my work, I'm multitasking, I'm on my phone. People even use their phone in the bathroom. They say that teenagers check their phone 100 times a day for 7 hours. I'm guilty of it as well. And when we check our phone, we do so because we love to get likes, comments. And when you get a like or a comment, do you know what you call it? You call it getting dopamine. Sounds kind of weird, right? But it means that you feel good when you see somebody like something or commented. You just feel good, just for a second. And because you feel good, you want to get more dopamine. You want another person to like it. And if you have one picture that has 50 likes, you're like, that's great. But then you think, my next thing, I want it to get 100. Sometimes when you're online, though, you have to deal with trolls pulling you down. You have to deal with multitasking. Like I said, I know when online learning was happening, I know you guys wouldn't do it. But I always had to check my kids because they would be doing their work with their iPad or their phone, watching Modern Family or Dance Moms. So if this summer, I encourage you guys to disconnect. And that doesn't mean never go online, never use your phone, but to take some breaks and to focus on your outlet. Something to do, not with plugging something in, but to blow off steam and build self-esteem. One of my favorite outlets is to read. And I encourage you guys that this summer to pick up and read a book. I've loved reading since I was a kid. You know, I used to read these books about Jackie Robinson or Terry Fox, as you see there. Shout out to my man, Eric Walters. I was just reading this book. It's a great book, Black and White. It's about basketball. And I love reading books about things I like. I love basketball, if you haven't been able to tell. Nowadays, I'm reading Marianne Francis's book, which is Black Canadian History, the first Black female lieutenant governor in Canada. So I've read that. And this morning, I was drinking my coffee, reading Grant Hill, who was a basketball player that I idolized when I was growing up. Now, an outlet can be sports, it can be art, it can be music. But your outlet should have 3 things if it's a great one. It's something you can do to take your mind off of things. So when you're doing your outlet, when you're playing basketball outside, you're not thinking about maybe that bully. You're not thinking about if your parents are fighting or if you have a problem with someone else. It takes your mind off. A great outlet is when you focus. All you're thinking about is what you're doing. You're not multitasking, but you're focused. I put this picture here of skateboarding because you can't be thinking about other things when you're skateboarding, right? You can't be on your device when you're skateboarding. Accidents are likely to happen. And the third thing about a great outlet is that it's healthy. Here's some people just working out outside. So sports, you know, that's going to be something you take your mind off, you focus on, it's healthy. Video games. Well, you take your mind off of things. You're focused. I've played Fortnite. It can be healthy, but if you're playing video games for several hours, just sitting down, not always the healthiest thing. So I encourage you guys to try a new outlet. Last summer, right today, basically, I did another event and I just came out with my new song, GOAT, the greatest of all time. And it was fun for me because I saw people on TikTok do this dance. Check it out.
I ain't trying to be nobody. I already know I'm dope. You can say my name.
I didn't know this person.
Ask about me.
But she created this dance. Or somebody created the dance, and then she made this instructional video. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
I ain't trying to be nobody.
This took me.
I already know I'm dope. You can say my name whatever. Ask about me, they know I'm a
I tried really hard. I tell you, when I landed that one, that was my made it moment. All right, guys, we're almost at the end of the presentation today, but I always love to end things with a freestyle. So to do a freestyle rap, I need your help. I need things to rap about. So in the chat, can you guys write down what you want me to rap about? It could be cheese. It could be dinosaurs. What freestyle topics are we going to get today? I'm curious what you guys have for me. Maybe it's going to be unicorns. Let's see. Are we going to get any freestyle topics? I'm just trying to find a beat to play for you guys. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Oh, look at this. They're rolling in. Baseball, unicorns, track and field, Sonic. Oh my goodness. How do I get all the way to the top? Okay, yeah. I've got like 150 freestyle topics. So check it out. Yeah. I got 150 freestyle topics. I never tired of them because I web it together like I'm Spider-Man. When I keep on going on and on, because I can rap about anything. I can make it rhyme, even orange. Right off the tip top with some hip hop and tell a joke is funny like crisscross or Chris Rock. If you could tell an outlet for your mental health, always do it for yourself because you know you a superstar. I stay driven even when I'm not in a car. And this is my uniform. It sticks out just like a unicorn. Strong and different. If you ever get with it, you know what it's like. If you playing Fortnite all night with V-Bucks, I rock it on. I rap about orange. Now I'm talking about Scotty Barnes, the rookie of the year. After all, a rapper, a raptor, playing basketball. And my freestyles are still sick. I'm a fresh prince like I'm Will Smith. Yes, believe I never leave. As a kid, I was lactose intolerant to cheese. So that's how it goes. When I kick it, the GOAT might even be Damian Lillard. Let me bust a riddle just for a little. What is deal? Now you thinking of a pickle. Yeah, you know what's up with me. I want a slushie. Take me to 7-Eleven for a Slurpee. My kids, man, they getting big. Got two of them, Dulaw and Taja. The law is 11 years old and my daughter is 9 and her name is Taja. I get down and I rock ya, kick it like soccer, like Ronaldo. When I go, I rhyme till I rhyme no more and take your way back like a dinosaur. I told y'all from the start when I said Jurassic Park, I might have to go off the ledge. I'm not a pirate of the Caribbean, but I gotta shout out to my man Johnny Depp. Now that's a good look. This summer, I hope you read a lot of books. When it comes to rap, I'm far from a cookie. I take a bite of it just like a cookie. And I'll tell you again, it's Dwayne. When I was young, I was playing some video games. Let me explain. I did it for my entire squad. And my favorite video game as a kid was Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, wow. Thank you guys for all those freestyle topics. You guys are going on and on. Once again, shout out to everyone from across the country that is tuning in here for Still Driven. And since we're at the end, I want to see if anybody has a question that they would like to ask me. I will let you guys know if you guys would like to check me out online. You can always find me at I am D.O. Gibson. So I am D.O. Gibson on YouTube. I am D.O. Gibson on TikTok. I am D.O. Gibson on Instagram. All right, let's see if we have any questions. How did I know that this was my dream? I didn't. You know, sometimes you figure things out along the way. I loved rap, and I loved rapping even if it wasn't my job. But I learned the business of it. And when I liked doing the business, I realized that this could be my job. Do I have any other dreams? I've got so many dreams. One of my dreams is to perform in every continent. So I was supposed to perform in South Africa in November, but then there was this thing called Omicron. So my dream got deferred, but I'm looking forward to getting back there. What is my favorite football team? I love the Pittsburgh Steelers, black and yellow. You know how it goes. Thank you for the shout outs here. How old was I when I started rapping? I was 12 years old. So shout out to any 12-year-olds in the crowd. I know there's a lot of high school students here too, so I'm not sure. Who is my favorite rapper? I've got a lot of them, but I'll tell you, one of the people who I think is the best is Kanye West. But a lot of the times I'm listening to a lot of my boy Justin Bieber, Peaches. Have I watched the new movie Hustle with Bo Cruz? Oh, I love the new movie Hustle. I thought that was a great movie. I thought it was really funny, but I thought it had a great lesson about sticking to your dreams, about how things go off and they're not always going to work out, it seems, but you keep on going. See, no spoiler in there. What flavor of slushie do I like best? You know what? It's funny because every year when I'm done my school shows, I go and get a slushie. Now, today was supposed to be my last show, but I'm doing a last minute performance at a school tomorrow. But I might go and get a Coca-Cola slushie. Sometimes I just like Coca-Cola. Sometimes I mix them up, though. All right, guys, I'm going to take 5 last questions. So I'm going to scroll up and down for a few of these questions. Just want to be respectful of time. Went longer than I thought. I even had more material, but I wanted to do something brand new for you guys. So hopefully you guys don't mind that you're not able to get right back to science class or math. Yeah. Okay. What is my favorite song that you made? And can I tell you some of my best jokes? I don't have a lot of pre-written jokes. I'm sorry, but one of my favorite songs is what I did this year, which is called One Woman Can Change the World. I loved it because I wrote the song, but then I got to do a music video and I had a chance to put in a lot of women, specifically Black women from Canada that helped change the world. And my daughter was in my music video. 4 more questions. Celtics or Warriors? I'm going with the Warriors, but I like the Celtics too. And I like both teams because they've got a lot of unicorns. And what I mean by that is they play basketball kind of in the right way. They work really hard. They play defense. They're not just flashy and they're not just about themselves. So it's a great series. What is my future perspective of the world? I'm looking forward to the world. I don't know how better to say it. I know that we've gone through a pandemic. We're going through inflation. Teachers, I know you feel my pain at the pumps, but it's hard to stay driven when that happens. But I look forward to it because these 2 years have shown us that we can be resilient, that we can keep on going when things are tough. All right, 2 questions. Let me see. When did I get my idea to do Black history? I like that one. So I got my idea when I was asked to come to schools. And at first I talked about goals. Then people wanted me to talk about bullying. Then people asked me to speak about Black history. And after doing it for about 5 or 6 years, I noticed most people only talked about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. Great people to know. But I'm a 6th generation Black Canadian. So I wanted to tell stories about Black Canadian history. And I remember when I told stories about Viola Desmond over 10 years ago, people had never heard of it. She wasn't on the bill. Now it's great when I go to schools. It's like most people have heard of Viola Desmond. So it's come a long way and I'm glad to see that. Wow, Aaliyah really wants to sing because I wonder why I had all these new ones. So my favorite soccer player will be the last question. So I got to go with Mbappe. I remember watching the World Cup 4 years ago, and I thought he was great. He was always putting it off his head. Really good player, but Ronaldo is great. I probably have about 50 different hats. And tomorrow I'm going shopping for some new hats because I'm going out on my tour. And I always love wearing something that shows I'm from Canada. So even when it says 6, some of you guys will know, Drake calls Toronto the 6. So I love it because when you're in another country, people always love Canadians. So it's a good thing to do. And I do have a Guinness World Record, the world's longest freestyle rap, and the most 10Ks in the world on one time. Hey guys, I want you to I want to thank you guys for sticking with me here for this presentation. I'm hoping you guys have a great summer. I know it's been a challenging couple years. Shout out to you for being still driven and knowing that can't nobody hold me down. Come on, can't nobody hold me down. Thank you guys. My name is D.O. and peace. See if you dream. Oh yeah.